Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on kubectl namespace commands. So first we'll set the alias k equal to kubectl and this will save us some typing. So first list namespaces. So k get ns and this lists all namespaces in the cluster and the output will look something like this. So we have our default namespace and we have some system specific namespace followed by your own custom namespaces. Next, to create a namespace, k create ns followed by the namespace name. So this creates a new namespace and the backend YAML will look something like this. It will have API version, kind, metadata and the name of namespace. Next, to delete a namespace, k delete ns followed by namespace name. So this deletes a namespace and all resources within it. So this is to remember that all the objects and resources that are part of namespaces, they will also get deleted. Next, how to describe a namespace, k describe ns followed by the namespace name. So this shows detailed information about a specific namespace like labels, annotations, status, resource quota, limits if anything is set. And the output will look something like this. So you have a name, labels, annotation, status, any resource quotas, any limit ranges, and any network policies. Next, how to edit namespace, k edit ns followed by the namespace name. So this opens the namespace YAML when manifest in the default editor for the modifications. So this will be default on Linux will be VI. So you can add labels and annotations. And once you open, it will look something like this. So you will have the whole thing, metadata, creation, timestamp, labels, resource version, UID, and any other fields. What is the status and all. Next, label namespace. So k label ns followed by the namespace name and the label that you want to provide. So it will have a key followed by value. So adds a label to a namespace. So some examples are here. So key label ns and the namespace name, and I am putting a key and label environment equal to development, and a team label also you can put. So key and values whatever user defined, and add multiple labels also. So you can have separate commands to the same namespace. It can have more than one label also, and you will just get back a saying that the namespace is labeled. Get namespace YAML. So k get ns namespace name -o for output and YAML. So this retrieves the YAML manifest of a specific namespace and the output will look something like this. So you have the whole YAML will be displayed out onto your console. Next, list namespaces with labels. So you can give command k get ns -- show labels. So this will list all namespaces and displays their labels. So this will be the output. So you have name, status, age followed by all the labels that the namespace is labeled with. Then how to annotate a namespace. So k annotate ns namespace name followed by the key value. So this adds an annotation to a namespace, and there's some examples. K annotate ns namespace name and some description. Sometimes you can provide some owner like who is the owner, who's the contact, and this is annotated. So this annotation is slightly different than labels. Labels are used more for technical reasons, like you work with something and you provide label selector and all. Annotation is more like a what we call as a cosmetic things, and this is more to display some additional information like what is the purpose and all. So you, in this case, you can see owner and contact. So you can add additional information that we can retrieve based on the annotation. So explain namespace, k explain ns. So this will explain the whole namespace object itself, the technical namespace object, not specific to a namespace. Describe will describe a namespace. It will give it will show the documentation for the namespace API resource fields. and the output will look something like this. So you will have the API documentation, the kind, which version, and description, and then this part is important, like all the fields that are part of this namespace. So you have API version, kind, metadata, spec, status, and you can actually drill down this tree and you can get some more information if you are interested in. Next, patch namespace. So you can k patch ns, then the namespace name, and then followed by the field. So you have to know the hierarchy. So inside metadata, we have labels, and then we are providing a new label and a value. So this is the key and the value. So you can do this by editing, like edit namespace, or you can export the YAML to a file and edit and apply. Or if you want to do direct, you can do direct as well. So this updates a specific field of a namespace without opening the editor. That is adding a label in this example. So this is one example, k patch ns and the namespace name, and we are updating a label, and you will get a message like this is patched. Set default namespace. So by default, we work with the default namespace, that is the literal values. So we can say k config set context dash current followed by the namespace name and the new namespace. And once you set it, all the commands issued by this will work in that different namespace name, whatever we are specifying over here. So sets the default namespace for the current kubectl context and subsequent k commands without -n. So we don't have to specify -n. We'll target this namespace. So this is the example. So we are saying namespace equal to production. So then we don't have to specify -n with every command. So list pods in a namespace. So we can just say, this is one example. So this applies for everything, deployment, services and all. So k get pods -n and the target namespace. List pods specifically in the target namespace name. And output will look something like this. So whatever belongs to that namespace will be displayed. Apply configuration to a namespace. So k apply -f, and there is a YAML file and -n and whatever target namespace that you want to target. This applies the configuration from a file to the specified namespace. So for example, you have this file.yaml and this is the content, the whole content. This is a pod which you want to create, right? And here, as you can see, there's a namespace default, or it can be any other namespace. But when you apply this file, it will be created in production namespace, not the default. So in this way, you can override the default namespace or any other namespace, and that object will be created in the target namespace. Get pod logs in a namespace. So k logs pod name. So this is one more example that you have to specify -n for the whichever namespace you are working with. So this fetches logs from a pod in the specified namespace, and the output will look something like this. This is the log which is being streamed or which is being displayed. Execute commands in pod in a specific namespace. So k exec it pod name -n, and you can we are opening a sh shell editor. So this executes a command. In this case, it opens a shell inside the pod in the specified namespace. So after this command, we will be logged into the shell editor shell of that particular pod, and then we can execute command one by one. So a few example: k exec and the pod name, and this is the namespace name -n --sh, and in this second example, we are opening the bash shell. And if you want to work with if there is a multi-container pod, then you have to specify -c also. So list all resources in namespace. So command is k get all -n followed by the namespace name. So this will list several common resource types, includes pods, services, deployments, replica sets within the specified namespace. And output will look something like this. So you will have first pods, all the pods that are part of this namespace, then all the services and all the deployments and all the replica sets. So this is a good command if you want to have a very high level view of everything that exists in a specific namespace. And that's all. Thanks for watching.